Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the second session of the development of a new human being. So we are now in month 4 of the development of a new human being. You will see an image on your screen of a developing baby in month 4. So can we quickly discuss what will happen in month 4, please?
Well, the growth is continuing. All the things that were laid down in the first trimester, your major organs, the building blocks of the body, they are just undergoing a further development process where new cells are dividing, new cells are forming, they're laying down basically volume, so the volume is expanding as those organs that were initiated start growing. So the developmental process is really in full swing now, and that's actually a nice part. And all throughout this whole process, it has to be stressed that the nutrition of the mother is crucial. If she could eat 100% natural ingredients, foods, that would be the perfect development of the fetus, because the cellular tissue, all those tissues respond to natural ingredients because that was part of the creation. They don't respond to a synthetic drug. They were not created for that.
That won't help the growth at all.
No, it will actually damage the growth, damage the DNA, retard the growth process, and cause a certain defect in one area or another. So those natural nutrients have specific receptors on the cell surface that they respond to. And that interaction is very important, which we will get to later in some cell biology aspects.
Wow.
Okay.
So I think what is so amazing that the embryo is so protected, and that at stage everything is running perfectly. And just to note is that at that point, around about 1 million eggs are already produced in that embryo for ovulation for the person, or for in the case of a girl. And that is produced at that point in the embryo. That's incredible to note that it takes place then already. That's
just to highlight that again. So the new baby in month 4, or the reproductive system of the female baby is already forming, and the way he explained, and no new human eggs will be formed.
Yeah, those are that's for the lifetime.
When she is born, no new human eggs will be formed.
Yes,
I just want to emphasize
formed,
that. That's absolutely amazing. So the plan for her to reproduce is already there.
Yes.
So that is one of the amazing things in the human reproductive system, and I'm sure in all living animals.
Yes, that is the beauty of it is it is pre-programmed. And there's a certain genetic ability that is inherent in the genes, and those genes make specific proteins which enables life. So that is a predetermined process.
And the chances of this happening by chance is 0.
Yes.
Okay, and then I just want us to quickly mention a few things that's now forming or fully formed in month 4 before we go over to month 5. So I know about the fingers and toes. Toes are well defined at this stage. This is now in month 4.
Okay, that sounds good.
So, the eyelids, eyebrows, eyelashes, nails, hair, and then the body. The baby is now moving, as far as I understand.
Yes, there is already movement.
Is it mostly involuntary? Would you say?
Most of it is, but there's a lot of voluntary movement as well. And there are certain reactions that the developing baby is already aware of, even though not the way we know it.
Okay, but, so they're not thinking about it, but you can call it voluntary.
You can call it a voluntary reaction.
That forms part of the brain's development?
Yes, because like I said earlier, that is really the first tissue that develops is the neural tissue, the brain nervous system that develops first. So that's already highly developed at this stage.
And that's only month 4.
Yes.
So that's actually, maybe you can't really say halfway through the pregnancy. It's actually before you get to halfway still.
Yeah, it's already developed.
That sounds great.
Okay, so the next month of the second trimester is month 5. As far as I understand, the developing baby's muscles are now there and movement increase more and more, and now it's more voluntary.
Yes. Yeah, because the muscles would react to a certain, and there's a lot of chemical messaging that's going on from the mother. So there's really, later in life, you can basically call it, there's an intuition aspect here. But already on their own, the muscles are functioning little tissues.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing. And I understand the hair is starting to grow now.
Yes.
So, at this stage, the skin is also covered by a white coating to protect it against the amniotic fluid.
Yes.
In the amniotic fluid bag that's protecting the baby for the entire 9 to 10 months. I understand they are also saying 10 months because of the way they're calculating the pregnancy period.
Yeah,
Can you tell us more about that, please, Carl?
Yeah, the way it is counted is sometimes confusing because literally the development process is only about 36 to 37, 38 weeks, but they count an extra 2 weeks, which is the last time that the woman would have had her period. So those are the 2 weeks that's added to the whole process, or to the time they calculate.
Because they're not exactly sure when the egg was fertilized.
Yes, so that's usually those 2 weeks from the last menses. They count that as well. So then it becomes 39, 40 weeks.
Okay. So. And how big is the baby about now?
Well, the baby is growing very fast. I think at this point it's around 25.4 centimeters tall.
Still very small, but much bigger than what it started off with.
Twice the size.
Yeah,
very quickly.
The growth is almost, it's basically exponential from the early stages till now.
So let's quickly go over to month 6. That's now the last month in the second trimester. So changes that I'm aware of is veins are now visible through a translucent skin. And then fingerprints are busy forming. So that, I think, speaks to the uniqueness of a human being in general. I don't know if you want to give us some inputs on that.
Well, I think this is amazing. That means at this point, you're not a robot. You're not a reproduction of something. You are unique. That means you've got a unique fingerprint. And I think there's certain aspects in your DNA that makes you unique, an individual. So it means each individual living here on Earth has got unique attributes. Isn't that amazing that this is the way we're made? I'm not. There's not a duplicate of me somewhere.
No. And as we know, God,
we hope not.
And as we know, God does not make mistakes. So you are created with a certain purpose. And the amazing thing to know also is this whole development of the baby, where the DNA inside the cell is driving certain proteins that are being made, and that drives which cells are being formed. The DNA, the messages that it has inside of it, is only done by 4 nitrogen-containing bases.
Yeah.
There's only 4. And that's the abbreviation of the letters that you see, GTAC.
Mm-hmm.
And they complementary bind to each other. So there's only 4 nitrogen-containing molecules in the DNA backbone that gives us all this variation. And it's the way they combine or recombine that has the variation in it.
That makes it even more amazing. Okay, and what I'm also aware, the eyelids now begin to part and the eyes can begin to open. So we are now talking about a developing baby that looks like a baby after being born.
So it means at this point, if birth takes place, there's a higher chance of survivability?
Yeah.
Well, it must be. So
at
this stage, the baby can be born, but it's not ideal.
It's not ideal because especially what happens is in those last few weeks, it's very important for the lung tissue. The development of the lung tissue is happening in those later stages. So if the baby is born at this stage, there's usually problems with respiration, breathing, chest problems.
And therefore, you will need technology to save that baby if the baby must be born now.
Yes, but it is still difficult because it's not ideal. It needs that inner environment of the mother's body.
So survival chances are not that good at this stage
No,
yet.
and like I say, it's especially the pulmonary, the lung tissue that's important in those last few weeks.
Okay, so and in terms of growth, I understand the baby is about the length of a ruler. At
About
this stage.
30 centimeters long, yeah. Just that was it.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining us for this session. Please be back soon for another session on the developing baby.